I'm Jeff Fritz with SoundStage.com, and I'm joined today by Matt Simmonds, Product Manager at Bluesound. Matt, how are you today?
I'm great. How are you doing?
I'm doing great, and I wanted to let you know that you're actually the first repeat customer here on SoundStage Talks.
Unbelievable.
The video that we did a few months back was super popular, and with new products coming out by you guys, I thought it was a good time to do this again.
That's what an honor to get to be the repeat customer. That's great.
So I wanted to talk to you today about a product that we actually have coming up for review on SoundStage Simplify with Gordon Brockhouse on January 1st, and it's the Pulse Sub Plus subwoofer, wireless subwoofer, I should say.
Yep.
And it looks like it's going to be a super popular product for you guys. It has some unique features, and I wanted you to tell us a little bit about it.
I'd love to tell you a bit about it. Yeah, the Pulse Sub Plus, that's like been a year and a half in the making, and we launched it back in October. And it is, for Bluesound, it's our first wireless networked subwoofer. So we've had a wireless sub before, our original Pulse sub, and it used kind of a point-to-point technology with both our soundbar and an accessory that we sold called the RT100. But the Pulse Sub Plus is the first product, subwoofer product from us that sits on the network, that is easily paired and controlled with any Bluesound player, and functions for all intents and purposes very similar to how any other Bluesound player would function. And so that's kind of like the main gist. And we just felt like with our previous model, as good as it sounded and as it really fit a product need at the time, we just felt like we could take it to the whole next level, and that's even part of the reason for the name Plus in this one. So Pulse Sub Plus. And the main feature, the main kind of piece of awesomeness that this thing is really that it is smart. Like it sits on the network, like super simple control to get it paired up with another player, whether it's wireless, like Wi-Fi, or whether it's with an Ethernet cable. And a really unique feature, actually, and one that I'm fairly certain we're kind of one of the only ones that do it for a network subwoofer, is we also do have the classic analog input on it. So you actually can use it with not even a Bluesound product, with a third-party AV receiver, let's say, something like that. And that's a really unique feature that allows it, that expands its use case even beyond the Bluesound ecosystem.
Okay, so let's talk a little bit about physically what it is first. I know it has a 150 watt amplifier. Can you tell us a little bit about the size of the driver? I know the physical form of the subwoofer is a little bit different. You look at the photos of it and you can see that it's built and designed such that its application can be almost anywhere that a small box can go. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, we really inherited that. Like, we took that from the original Pulse Sub and kind of applied it again to the Pulse Sub Plus. With this product, we set out to do a couple of different things. One was to just really beef up the performance. And so that's, you alluded to it, 150 watts of power as opposed to 100 in the previous model. And then an 8-inch driver as opposed to a 6-inch driver in the previous model. So with the Pulse Sub Plus, you've got 150 watts of power. You've got an 8-inch driver in a closed system, and it's not a ported sub. So this is like fully, it's DSP controlled. And actually, I should call attention to the amplifier specifically. We're using what we call a Smart Amp Dsp. And it's really unique. And basically, what Smart Amp does is it's got your normal DSP equalization and stuff, like limiting and stuff like that. But it takes it kind of to a whole new level, in the sense that the smart aspect of it is in design, we've input into the amplifier settings the characteristics, the features of this subwoofer. So that it's an 8-inch driver, that the excursion on the driver is a certain amount of space, that that all of these heat, temperature, and that kind of thing. And what it does then in real time is it monitors for all those things, And as soon as it's reaching thresholds and limitations of it, it will limit the amplifier, and so you'll never really get into this like into a crazy distorted clipping mode or anything like that. And it's basically the goal of all of this was to eke out every little ounce of performance that we could. And that's what happens. It almost like knocks it up another notch in terms of the output capability. So that's really what we wanted to do. And then in terms of its form factor, we again, like I said, we inherited a lot of that from the previous model in terms of our thinking about the design. We wanted it to be really flexible. For Bluesound, we're a lifestyle brand in a lot of ways. So we appeal to both audiophiles because we actually use good components and we are a hi-fi company. But we also appeal to people, who maybe don't understand that side of things, but they want products that sound good and look good and work well and function well within their life, within their space, for their life. It's one of the reasons one of our one of our taglines is hashtag living hi-fi. So so it's super flexible. We've got it can be table mounted or like floor mounted, I should say, just stand on its feet, stand on its end. It can be laid on its back and slid underneath the sofa or slid underneath the TV stand or something like that. That's how I've got it set up at my place. And it also comes with a wall bracket, a really super functional wall bracket, and can be wall mounted. And it can be wall mounted either in landscape mode like this, how you would kind of think of doing it, or it can be actually wall mounted in portrait mode too. Which might be the kind of look that a customer would be looking for in that space. So it's really flexible. It's not a huge cube, right? Like, it's not a big piece of furniture that you have to put into your room. It's meant to kind of blend into any decor that you've got going on as a customer. So and for your life, we want it to fit into your lifestyle.
Well, there's a tremendous amount of ingenuity just from your description. I think it's obviously designed to be super flexible, and for the end user, all of that technology and ingenuity. How does the end user control this subwoofer? Is it ergonomically easy to use? Is it intuitive? Tell us a little bit about the end user and how they're going to interact with controlling this product.
Totally. Every Bluesound product is meant to be super simple to use. It's meant to be super simple on your setup and basic use, and then we have tons of features that you can dive into if you want to tweak things and stuff. So the sub is no different. You would take this thing out of the box, you'd put it where you want it, you'd plug it in, and you would then go through a network setup process, the exact same as all of our other Bluesound products. And you would do all of that through the app on your phone or on your tablet, and that's the Bluos app, and basically just a wizard that takes you through network setup. And once your network set up, it's super simple. You pick up another player to pair it to, and you're off to the races.
Okay. Well, tell us a little bit about what you've heard from the Sub Plus system. You mentioned that you have one there. How does it sound to you?
Sounds awesome. Like, how do I describe it best? I would say in terms of, I would say it is. Well, I mean, I didn't even give some of the spec, but it's plus or minus 3 dB down at 24 hertz.
Okay.
So what you really get is you're really getting some beefiness down in that low, like in the really low frequencies, and we really wanted this thing to be really tight musically. So that's a function of its power, and it's a function of that smart DSP amplifier that I mentioned before. Is just really tight musically. As a musical amplifier, as a musical subwoofer, it's that is the right term, I think, is very musical. And so we're a music first kind of approach to how we do things, and I know that I actually haven't heard a sub that sounds this good at this size for music specifically. For movies, you're just carrying over that power. So for those for those types of scenes when you're watching that type of entertainment, TV shows or movies. Yeah, you're gonna hear that rumble, right? Like that's exactly what you want out of a subwoofer. And the coolest thing to do is put two of them together, pair two of them.
Right.
Yeah, then you're really gonna get something. That's pretty cool. And we had launched right from start. We were able to do actually more than two subwoofers at a time. You can pair. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah, and I don't think people probably, well, most people maybe they do, but going from the smaller driver in the original sub up to the 8-inch driver is really a huge difference in the amount of air that subwoofer can move. So I would imagine that the performance is greatly increased from the original model.
That's exactly it. Yeah, that was exactly the goal, was just more air to push, more power behind that air, and there you go. You're going to get something pretty special.
Well, cool. Well, Matt, hey, thanks so much. This has been great, and for all of the SoundStage readers out there, make sure that you check in on SoundStage Simplify on January 1st for Gordon Brockhouse's review. And if you get a chance to hear the Pulse Sub Plus, I'd love to hear one. Please take the time to do so. And Matt, thanks so much for joining us today.
Thanks so much for having me, Jeff.
All right. Bye-bye.